So hello everybody, welcome to this evening's English lecture. So I'm gonna give a few minutes until everybody joins online. We have still a little bit over 1 minute to start the lecture. So as you start to get online, first of all, make yourself comfortable. Relax a bit, trying to put all your activities, your worries on hold for at least this period of time in your day. If the house is still a bit noisy, and if you can find a quiet spot, it always helps our level of concentration. But if you can't as well, it's fine. Do whatever it's possible within your circumstances. And more than anything, it starts to calm your mind. Start to actually connect with your own self. Connect with our guardian angels. Alright, so let's make a start. So before we actually get into the lecture, once again, welcome if you just join us now. In today's or this evening's lecture, we will be talking about faith. Such a relevant, important topic, subject for us to comfort our souls, our minds with. But before we get into it, let's all together close our eyes and make ourselves our opening prayer. And let's elevate our thoughts, our minds to our Master Jesus, our Lord Jesus Christ, our Master who teaches every day through the life trials, to the life struggles, to the life's various moments, to the ups, to the downs, to happiness and sadness, to light and darkness, to learn more about ourselves, to be stronger, to strengthen our faith. So let's connect ourselves with our Master. Let's ask our guardian angels that are here surrounding us to give us the conditions, the frame of mind, to be able to meditate, to be able to really listen to the words that are going to be brought here today for all of us, that those words can actually make a meaningful impact, perhaps for some of us even a shift of mindset that will guide us through a more confident and faithful life, or faithful next few months or few days. So let's ask for permission to start this lecture. Thanks God, thanks Jesus. So once again everybody, welcome if you just joined in the middle of the prayer. My name is Carlos. I'm a volunteer of the Spirit Center, Paul and Stephen, and I come here today to try to share with you a couple of reflections, a couple of thoughts, perhaps a bit of knowledge transferred to us from the reading of the Gospel according to Spiritism. So, as I was saying, if you join me from the first seconds of this transmission, the topic today is the faith as a general topic. And it is perhaps more than ever so important to talk about faith, isn't it? Especially in today's circumstances. Depends on where you are in the world. You would have be living right now different conditions, different circumstances. We are transmitting this lecture from Melbourne, Australia, and right now, right here, the whole population is going through certainly a significant trial in which we are faced with a very long lockdown, a very long stretch of time in which we have been very harshly restricted on our freedom to exercise our social interactions, which we all understand and we all accept its importance. We know already why the reduction of socialization, or for a period of time the complete almost elimination of socialization, it is crucial to control the pandemic. And I'm not going to get into that level of discussion in this lecture at all. We'll leave that for the coffee chats. However, in any circumstance, regardless of what we're going through, and perhaps this is just a great other example of circumstance that we're going through now, faith is our main ally. Faith is our main tool. Faith should be our main pillar. It's like our legs, our arms, because it sustains us. It gives us the ground, the foundation, so we can keep moving, so we can keep walking, so we don't get stuck on the conditions, on the limitations of that specific moment, right? And I'm going to start actually reading a few, little parts of the gospel that I've selected here for us to have a bit of a reflection on. And they are absolutely of an amazing value, especially when you look through the eyes of the experiences that we are living right now. So look at this one. The robust faith gives perseverance, energy, and resources, which allow us to overcome these obstacles, be they large or small. Remember, the robust faith, the healthy truth faith, gives us the perseverance, the energy, and the resources to overcome the struggles and the trials of life. So isn't that actually what we all need and want? Can you control, can I control, can we control what happens to us? What's out there in the next corner? No, we can't. Because life, it is what it is. We live the best we can day by day. And we're never going to be able to predict what's going to be there waiting for us right in the next day. So it's inevitable. We're going to have ups and downs. It's inevitable. We're going to have tough days. We're going to have really good days. We're going to have average days. We're going to have losses. We're going to have fantastic moments of love and compassion. Right? So that's the experience. That is our earthly experience. Whether we accept that or not, this is the truth that we all live in, right? Doesn't even matter which belief you come from. That's just the reality you all experience every single day. And which better characteristics, and which better personal asset could we have than faith? Not just faith in ourselves, not just faith on our own capabilities and our own ability to manage and handle the ups and downs, the struggles, the normal flow of life, but also the faith that we have through God, through the message of Jesus, that keeps telling us everything will be fine in its own time. It's just a matter for us to believe, to persevere, to be patient. look how interesting. I've just touched on a word, on a asset, on a characteristic that it can be quite rare these days. Patience. Patience became almost like a rare diamond that not a lot of us possess nowadays, these days, specifically because nowadays we live on the time where, well, at least the global media and the main social medias and all the platforms that we're immersed into tell us the constant message: you can do anything you want right now. It's just a click of a button away. So therefore, patience has been less and less exercised in our own daily lives. If we compare the patience that our grandfathers or grandmothers, our grandparents used to have, our own parents used to have, or still do have, to our generation, or to even the younger generations, it's very different. But patience is a crucial personal characteristic in order for us to truly exercise the robust faith. Things will be fine, but they not be fine tomorrow. They may not be fine next week. We may need to learn to accept the reality as it is right now. And our faith should not be a conditional faith. Oh, I'm only positive about the future, and I'm only really optimistic about my true belief that things will be fine if they turn into reality next month, because that's my own time. That's a conditional faith. That's a fake. I wouldn't call it a fake, but that's an incomplete fake. That's not the type of faith that supports our evolution as human beings. Because I'm always putting a condition for how this faith needs to work on my own terms. And that's not really how the universe works. The fundamental, unquestionable, robust faith, right? The true definition of faith is the unconditional belief that on something that you know it's gonna happen. It's almost like a rock solid truth that it doesn't get impacted by how, when, and what. It's just there. You believe it. You believe it as anything in this world. As nothing else, by the way. Sorry. I meant to say nothing else. And how current really is this topic, isn't it? Faith gives us a kind of clarity which permits us to see in thought the goal we wish to reach and the means of getting there, so that those who have faith go forward in a manner of speaking with absolute security. Now, let's quickly reflect on this, because let's be honest, right now, especially as I was saying in the beginning of this lecture, all of us that live here in Melbourne, Australia, we're going through tough times in which we're been facing very long lockdowns. And there's a lot right now of all of us which are struggling to see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's the fact. So what is faith? How can I be faithful in such a condition? What is the robust faith in such a condition? How can I apply this theoretical, idealistic faith that we've been speaking on the first 10 minutes of this discussion on this right moment, right now in my daily lives? Have a think about that yourself for a second. See what thoughts come to your mind. What comes to my mind, and of course, it's probably part of what I was trying to already exercise myself, but also heavily supported by the teachings that has been brought to us in the gospel readings of today's lecture. So in the perspective of what I've just reflected and reminded myself from this reading, the best faith I can present today would tell me, and because I know, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we can see this light. And that should not question, should not really put in under doubt, right? My hope to live every single day. And I should not actually allow my lack of faith to affect my motivation, to affect my hope. Because truth is, all that we're living today is just a phase. It will go away and will pass by. Facts are already there in the world. It's just you and me decide to want to see, right? So we all know, hopefully towards the end of the year, we're going to reach vaccination levels that are going to make our life here in Australia, in Melbourne, to be under perhaps a much more free way of living, closer to the normality you used to see or used to know one day. We know that. And even if we didn't know that, the faith doesn't come from what we hear from the politicians. The faith doesn't come from what I hear from the government or what I read on the news. The faith that you and me should really develop is the faith on the natural laws of the universe. That's where the real power comes from. Because if I'm only dependent on what I read on the news and what I watch on whatever news that I watch or what I read on the internet, and that's what I'm basing my faith on, well, what we have is not faith. What we have is just a reactional emotion towards some news that are either good or not that good, or actually they're pretty bad, isn't it? So our faith should come from what we see from the historical progress of humanity in this earth. How many dark moments have we had in the past of our human civilization? Only on the modern times, the ones that we can be much more, I guess, we can be much more in our forefront. We can think about at least two massive events in modern human life. First World War, Second World War. It's probably one of the darkest moments we've all lived in. Actually, may not be that you and I, we weren't probably born on that era. But certainly humanity was there. A lot of our grandparents, or even perhaps parents, have lived through that. And it was moments of very, very dark and pessimist forecasts. Because the world was really torn into pieces, right? There was destruction. There was, of course, a lot of death and losses. And there was a lot of doubt about whether we would ever see again peaceful days. We would ever see again days in which we would just wake up and things are normal. Isn't it? And that extended for actually, First World War extended for 4 years, Second World War extended for 5 years. And even when those wars actually were finished, there were actually the period straight after that of the full reconstruction, physical reconstruction of buildings and cities, as well as the emotional reconstruction of a lot of people that have been completely wounded. But still, life went on. And time passed, and the wounds healed, and here we are today again. So whatever we're living through today with the COVID pandemic, remember, this has just started in the early 2020s, or actually officially in November 2019. And this is almost, we can already see the light at the end of the tunnel. We can already see how the different countries are managing to maybe start to open up again to the new normal, right? So perhaps we're already talking about seeing the light of the end of the tunnel after 2 years. So put things in perspective. I think we have a great opportunity to inspire ourselves, to strengthen our faith in the future, our faith in the natural laws, our faith in the history of the universe, history of humanity. So you and me can actually develop a much more optimistic view of the days to come. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm suggesting that you and me should ignore the difficulties and the struggles that we all feel today. So having faith has nothing to do with having a fake optimism. They are completely different things. I may still recognize that I'm not happy with today's situation. It's not good, and I don't like it. And actually, I'm struggling it because I don't feel as motivated as when I was experiencing my normal life base. And that's absolutely normal. That just means that you and me are human beings. We have emotions, we have feelings. Nothing wrong with that. But feeling the moment and understanding and recognizing the difficulty of that moment shall not have anything to do with questioning better days to come, to questioning the justice of the universe. Because that's where faith is. So when you have the opportunity, and I know for my personal experience, we've been having plenty of experiences in which we call friends and we call people that we can connect with, of course, remotely. And give it or not, we are talking about the things that we're not appreciating in this time, or things that we're struggling with, or things that we don't like. And that's absolutely fine, because we need to vent. That's perfect. But let's maybe start, even though we need to do that, and that's perfectly fine, let's commit ourselves to even check with our own selves before, whether we truly believe that this is a phase, whether we truly believe that all we're living through, right, is going to go away. And if you do, then maybe try to give that message as well after your venting. Because it changes a lot if all of us start talking about a positive change that is coming, about our unquestionable belief that this is really just a period. Because that starts to feed a cycle of hope. And hope is actually what feeds our motivation for living. Without hope, it is really, really much more complicated, right, to have faith. Without hope, it's really complicated to have even motivation to wake up from bed. And lack of hope is lack of faith. So perhaps in the context of what we are all immersed into, let's hopefully take a few messages from this discussion, from this lecture, which I would hope should help you and me to be a bit more faithful towards what's to come, reinforce our certainty that there are much better days to come, and it's okay not to be okay today. Because honestly, what else were we expecting from this earthly existence? just a walk on the park, a very troubleless experience. We know that that's not the case. We know that the trials are gonna come, not just for maybe individuals, but for societies, for the whole humanity. And we need to be prepared for it. And our faith shall not be conditioned or conditional to the existence or the absence of struggle. Because that's not where our faith really resides. Okay? So that's the message I would like to bring to all of us today. I hope you have enjoyed a couple of the reflections we're able to do here together tonight. And hope all the best for you and for me, for your families. And let's all get together now to do our final prayer. So this moment we close our eyes. We reflect again on everything we've learned here today. Give yourself a deep breath. In every breath you take, let's fill our soul with hope. Let's imagine through our nose, through our mouth, the fresh air that's coming in, it's bringing positive vibrations, positive energies that feeds our soul, gives our soul, our minds, our emotional bodies a stronger base, a more mature, more calm, more composed structure that allows us to feel the discomfort of the current scenario without necessarily questioning the whole point of this existence, without questioning the beautiful future that lies ahead of us. Let's reinforce our faith. Let's talk about our faith. Talk to others about our belief. Because that certainly, it's going to make step by step, conversation by conversation, the whole mood and the whole energy of the society that we live in improve, get more positive, get more faithful. So let's thank God, let's thank Jesus for allowing us to be here today together in thoughts, in feelings. And let's vibrate all our best emotions, our best energies, our most sincere prayers to all the needs in the world right now. Whatever they need, whatever they're needed, or whatever they are, the spirituality, our Master Jesus can bring consolation, can bring support, can bring calmness to all the four corners of our globe. Thanks God, thanks Jesus. All right, all of us, thank you so much. You have a good night, and I'll see you another day. Bye-bye.